Welcome to the yard, it's that Birdland sound. Pigtown sports, yeah, we holding it down. Bleeding orange, dripping purple, that's the code we claim. Crab cake, hustle, Old Bay in the veins. From Camden Yards to the air, we all the same. That beat more fire running deep in our veins. From the block to the booth, yeah, we bringing that flame. Pigtown sports, steady carving the game. Talking stats and facts, we don't cap, we react. Breaking plays, dropping gems, keep it all exact. Ravens on the rise, O's back in their zone. We the next up. Baltimore zone, yeah. Microphone heat when we speak that truth. It's Pigtown sports, yeah, we speak for the youth, yeah.
Grab a crab cake plate, pour that natty bowl. When the mics turn on, man, you already know. We the best up and coming Orioles podcast today. Spitting stats and facts with that Old Bay flame. From the block to the booth, we don't play no games. Pigtown sports, remember the name. Woo!
What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? Been a pretty slow day in the winter meetings, and pretty much nothing absolutely happened whatsoever. Pretty shocking around baseball, just pretty slow day. I think the agents are boozing around the bar right now, GMs, everybody's just having a good old time. And, what do you guys think? What do you think? What the hell happened? What the hell happened? To be honest with you, I was pretty excited. And I feel like I've let a lot of you down, at least on Twitter, maybe a little bit on YouTube too. I built up this excitement for Kyle Schwarber, right? Things were close. Things were really close. And we got played. We got played. And look, credit to some of you that said that the Orioles are leverage whores, and it happened. It happened. I didn't think it was possible in this case. I didn't think Kyle was that kind of guy, and I'm not saying that he's a bad guy by any means. He enjoyed Philadelphia. Obviously, Philadelphia really enjoys him. It was a match made in heaven. It just sucks that he just came out and was just like, I want 5 years. Philly radio has been talking about it pretty much all evening. They've been tweeting out that they couldn't get a deal done prior because he wanted 5 years and Philly would not go over 3. From what I was told Friday night, the Orioles went 3 for $100. It was a solid offer. It was the best offer that he had at the time, better than what Philly had for their 3-year offer. Philly came back with 4 for $120. And then Mike Elias counted for 5 for $150, and he took that back to Philly, and they agreed on it. It sucks. It sucks to be used as leverage like that. But you know what? It's a business. It sucks for us. But look, it's a business when it comes down to it, and this is the best for Kyle and his family to I guess stay in Philadelphia and get the money. Like, he got the 5 years that he wanted. I shake my head a little bit because I was pretty excited. Like, the tone that we were hearing out of Mike Elias in the front office was just completely different this year. The confidence that they had, cool, right? We can hang a banner on all that stuff. That's fine. I get it. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little down about everything, right? I was confident. I was confident, and I suppressed that confidence to you guys. So my apologies there. It sucks, but you know what? Like I started off with the show, it's been a slow winter meetings. It's been slow. One, I guess you could say two. Two big guys have come off the board right now. Edwin Diaz and Kyle Schwarber, really, literally back to back. It was kind of funny. Is really this move was announced. So Excel Sports made this announcement while Boris was talking to everyone else. Boris was up there spitting out his one-liners and doing all that funny stuff. They were like, "Oh, Kyle signed." So was that a little agent on agent banter or whatnot? I'm not really sure. But that's kind of funny regardless if you really think about it. Not funny for Orioles fans, obviously, but it happens. So where do the O's go from here is another question that many people are asking, and it's a fair question to ask. I don't want to say they put their eggs in the Kyle Schwarber basket, but they made it known that he was their number one priority. And that is fine, right? They did speak to Alonso pretty much right after, and they let him know that, hey, this is our number one priority. Their intent was to try to sign both Schwarber and Alonso. Obviously, that didn't happen. But you know what? Is Alonso the pivot now? Maybe. Is Kyle Tucker the pivot now? Maybe. There's still a lot of quality baseball players out here. So the offseason's not over. It's just, it's for what it's going to take to break the PTSD from this fan base, me included. Somebody's got to put a damn pen to the paper. They got to put a damn pen to the paper. Like, how much longer are we going to have to wait? And the only thing you can keep doing in this situation is just keep swinging. You can't just fold up shop and just be like, we tried. We pushed all our chips in and we failed, and whatever. You can't do that. Not in this business. And look, it sounds like the Reds are doing that. Like they shot their shot for Kyle, and they went up to, I think, 125, I think it was reported. But they're not willing to spend that 125 on anybody else. So you can't do that in this business. You just can't. So stay aggressive is what I would say if I'm Mike Elias. Stay aggressive. Put the brakes down on Kyle Tucker or Pete Alonso or whoever you got to do. There's still pitching that could be had here. Ranger Suarez, Imaya would be pretty cool here. Some reports came out pretty recently here that they're looking at Edward Cabrera from the Marlins. Very, very good pitcher. I mean, he had a solid year last year coming off an injury. Career has been pretty decent. But there's things to work with here. I mean, obviously, we all know that this team needs pitching, right? So it's not like they missed out on all the pitching so far. They could if they don't really, put pen to paper here. But this seems like they're still being aggressive. They're still being active. They're not letting it. I feel like if I feel this way, I feel like Mike Elias in the front office is kind of like, damn, right? They feel it too. Just got to stay aggressive at this point. So touching a little bit at Edwin Cabrera. Could he be a guy that the Orioles should acquire? Maybe. He's pretty dang good. So look, his last 17 starts, 95 innings pitched, 110 Ks, 2.64 ERA, and a 107 WHIP, 21 Ks and 15 innings versus the Braves. This was a tweet, obviously back in August. It was a hell of a stretch. Could you bring that here? Yeah, definitely could. There's a lot of things to like about Edward. Could he be an option? I haven't heard anything about Edward at all. It was the first that I heard about it when it was reported from Ken Rosenthal. But he definitely could. I would still, even if you landed a trade, I would still be aggressive for Ranger Suarez if that's the guy that you feel like is priority one on the pitching side, either or Framber, whoever they decide. Sign one of them. Still be on Maya, right? Let's hypothetically think here for a moment. Kyle Bradish, your ace. I think this is the de facto ace just because he's been here for a while, regardless if you get Ranger or Framber. I still think Kyle Bradish is your ace. And then we'll say like Ranger or Framber at the 2. Trevor Rogers at your 3, right? I think he's deserved that. Say you acquire Amaya, right? And Cabrera. Well, there's your 4 and 5, right? Now you can, if you need to, either throw Dino in the pen or trade him, right? He's still got a little bit of control. He's going to have some kind of value to him here. But just imagine that rotation, right? Bradish, Framber, or Ranger, Rogers, Amaya or Cabrera, and then Amaya or Cabrera. Even if Amaya kind of struggles that first year, who cares, right? You got a good Japanese guy who's going to come in and throw gas. Who cares, So, listen, Cabrera coming off an injury. He's still got a ways to go. I've said it before, the Marlins aren't the greatest at rehabbing people. So could he get even better? Yeah. Mackenzie Gore is still still a guy that I like. The reason why I do like him, right? So his first halves, I think I tweeted it the other day. Let me see if I can find it real fast so I don't misspeak for you guys here. I did it. I talked about it yesterday, but he had like 71 starts in the first half of his career. Right here, 71 starts in the first half, a 3.87 ERA with a 3.47 FIP and a 3.72 xFIP. Only 34 starts in the second half of his career with a 4.91 and a 5.24 FIP with a 4.54 xFIP. Is it a lack of focus or does he get tired? He's still 26 years old. He still has control. The K rates are great. It's like a left-handed Dylan Cease. The thing that I like about him is DC like literally just cleaned house. Like they didn't really follow analytics too much. They didn't feel like any of their coaches were good enough to keep. So could you get that guy in another spot and just let him figure it out at 26, 27 years old and just explode? It's possible. I mean, Toronto still thinks that Dylan Cease has things that he can unlock. You would have to think that Mackenzie Gore probably has those same things, right? So that's another option that I think that they should probably look at. But, I mean, either way, there's guys available. Is Joe Ryan really available? They say no. Is he? I don't know. It's possible. But let's kind of look at what Cabrera is overall here. So I like to look at career a little bit. 407 career in 89 games, 220 average against, a 324 OBP with a 375 slugging, and a 312 WOBA. So 25.9% K rate, which is pretty good. A 131 whip, 74.8% left on base, 4.45 FIP, and a 4.03 xFIP. So, around what his ERA is. ERA is 4.07, so around that. Hard hit rate, 31%, which is pretty decent. A 48% pull rate. Now, think about it. A righty coming to Camden Yards with a semi-far left field here with a 48% pull rate. That's going to be pretty solid. And I like the fact that he's almost at a 48% career ground ball rate. Now, let's look back at what I'm pretty sure he missed all 24, right? So he pitched a little bit in 24. So 24 and 25, he's got a 4.12 ERA. And we got the 3.75 xFIP. So they say he should be a little bit better. 25% K rate, 129 whip, 33% hard hit rate, a still 43.9% pull rate with basically a 47% ground ball rate. So what are you getting out of that? I'm not 1,000% sure, but it seems like you could get him to pull the ball on the ground in Baltimore, and it goes right to Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westberg. I feel like that might be pretty healthy. Let's see what he does against the AL the last 2 years. 61 innings, a 3.21 against the AL in the last 2 years. And just 12 starts, though. 220 average against, 284 OBP, and a 340 slugging. That's pretty good. 302 FIP and a 343 xFIP against the AL. Just a 26.5% K rate. That's pretty good. A 1.15 whip. That's a good. 30% hard hit rate, which is great. Looks like the ground ball rate the fly ball rate, I should say, is a little higher than normal against the AL here, but still, a 44% pull rate. So you got a guy who's going to come to, if he came here to Camden Yards, would typically pull the ball, and even it's in the air, like you got that little extra room in left field here to kind of help you out. So those are good things that I like. Now, I'm funny with this. You guys are going to kind of laugh at me. I like to see what guys are going to do under 60 degrees. He's only pitched 18 innings under 60 degrees. He almost got a 5 ERA. That'd be interesting to see who he did that against. But not that really matters. I just like looking at some of the stuff. All right, so let's go back to, we'll just say 2020. I can't remember how long he's been around. I just want to see what I like looking at what he does against, people do against certain teams, right? So I like to pick teams that I think are good, right? Have been good for a fairly good bit of while. Yankees, Texas, Toronto, let's say San Diego, Philly, the Mets, Dodgers, the Braves, the Diamondbacks. So all these good teams here, 4.73 ERA and 38 starts. So 228 average against. What I don't like here is 108 walks, only 179 Ks. That's 108 walks in 177 innings. So his walk rate here is about 14%. Not the greatest. K rate, 23% is pretty modest. A 1.41 whip. A 5.19 FIP. Now, if I take away, let's see, the Dodgers, not much better. Arizona, not much better. Let's see, Atlanta, not much better, even worse, looks like. So the Mets kind of pound him a little bit. So if we just do the tough AL teams. Let's do the tough AL teams. Just 3 games. So that's not even nothing to look at. 6.06 or 6.6 ERA. So nothing even to look at there. This is just some of the stuff that I do when I start to kind of peek around at guys that I like. Now, what I do like to do also is I like to go to the Illustrator, and I like to see what their pitches actually do. Why? I don't know. It's just something I like to do. So you guys kind of are getting that sense of what the hell goes through my brain when I start spitting out all these random ass stats on Twitter all the time. So this is literally what I do is I start looking at some of the stuff. And does it apply to absolutely anything? Probably even not. I don't even know. But these are some of the things that I just kind of like to look at. Somebody said, do the AL East. We can go back and do that real quick. Let's see. I just happen to look over and see that. Splits tool. Career. All right. Opponents, Baltimore, Boston, New York, Tampa, Toronto. 5.22 ERA in 7 games. 2.43 average against. Let's see. At home, 3.18 against those guys in 2 starts at home. On the way, away, it's a 6.50 ERA. Let's go by game and see what happens there. So it looks like he gave up pretty much 3, 3, 2, 1, 4. It doesn't tell me who it's against, but, I mean, you get a general idea here. So he only lasted more than 5 innings one time, or 5 innings one time, and those starts away against the AL East. Let me take away out completely here. So he made it into the 5th inning just 3 times in these starts against the AL East. Yeah, so he started against everybody at least one time. Well, actually, I shouldn't say it. It doesn't tell you who it is, though. It just tells you the date. So it looks like he had 1 in 2021. He had a 9 ERA. Does that really count? I doubt it at this point. Probably the 2023 one you could probably throw out too. So it's a give or take thing. So I wish he would. So the Illustrator might be able to tell me a little bit better here. But let's look at like what his fastball has done over the last 2 seasons. So fastball alone has been a 286 average against, just a 19% K rate. I like to see usually where it's at. Pitch description. Let's see. Pitch heat map. So this is typically where he throws his fastball. Not the greatest that I like here, but let's see what he does with 2 outs. 222 average with the fastball with 2 outs. So it looks like he likes to go up in the zone with a 25.5% K rate. So, okay. That's okay, I guess. Not great, not bad, but I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you're gonna get out of one of these guys. But he's still young. Like he's got 3 years control too. So there's things to kind of peek around. So let's see what he does against the Yankees, right? Yankees got a good lineup. Let's see what he's done at least in the last 2 years against the Yankees. So Yankees fastball. So it looks like they've hit 1 home run off him with a fastball. Excuse me. Do I have everything else? Yeah. So just 1 home run with the fastball. Slider hitting 167 against in 6 plate appearances with 3 Ks. So that's pretty good. Curveball, it looks like in 4 plate appearances, they have no hits, at least 1 strikeout, so a 25% K rate. That doesn't really count. It looks like he threw 8 guys a changeup with 0 hits off the changeup with a 37.5% K rate. Now, these are good to see. So if we do his fastball, slider, changeup here, they got a .59 average. So 1 for 18 against the Yankees with his off speed, right? That stuff, that is what plays. That's what you build off of to make a guy successful here. Again, fastball. It looks like he just threw it 7 times against the Yankees. That's funny. Do the sinkers 13 times. Looks like they had no hits off of that. So all in all, against the Yankees, fairly decent here. So let's just do the whole AL East maybe. So the last couple of years here. So we got Blue Jays. I don't think he's made a start against the Orioles, but apparently he did. So let's see. Rays, Red Sox. Is that everybody? Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays. I'm not missing anybody, am I? No, 5 teams. Okay. So 402 pitches here, 232 average against, 29.8% K rate. So that's solid. Now, if we just did his off speed here, 134 average against the AL East with a 35.7% K rate. I like that. An exit velocity of just 86.9. Listen, I think that plays. To me, I think that plays. Now, let's check the sinker. Sinker, a 467 average against with an exit velocity of 98.6. So that looks like it got pooped on a little bit. And then fastball here, 462. So lesson learned here. Don't throw anybody in the AL East a fastball if you pitch for the Marlins, and you'll be just fine. It'd be just fine. Now, honestly, all the off speed here could have probably been against the Orioles because we know they like to strike out against that. Hopefully that changes this year. But for the most part, I feel like we get value out of Edward Cabrera there if they wanted to go that route. Now, you could do these same things with Mackenzie Gore or something like that and get maybe similar results too. I'm not 1,000% sure. But at this point, I feel like the Orioles, they got to do something to take the sting away, right? Because I feel like we all got a little crushed today when Kyle Schwarber didn't sign. And we were all really hoping that they would quickly pivot to Pete Alonso or Kyle Tucker or even Ranger Suarez, just something to take the sting away. Now, it didn't happen. A good friend of mine who may be watching right now, Chad Kendrick, did a little research and did sign that 2 guys actually signed last year on Wednesday. So there's optimism. There's optimism out there that something might go down tomorrow, the last day of the meetings. Because pretty much after this, I don't think these guys are going to talk a whole lot the rest of the year, maybe here and there. But you got to think at this point, they're going back home to their families, the agents, the GMs, everybody. They're going back home to their families. You got Christmas time coming up. There's a lot of things that are going to be going on. How much conversations are really going to be happening at this point? So you got to get a lot done tomorrow, hopefully. God, this has got to be one of the most boring freaking winter meetings this was so hyped up. So hyped up from a lot of different fan bases, not even just ours, just a lot of different fan bases. And I feel like it's been a complete, absolute letdown for everybody. Now, things look like they've a good time down there, but it's whatever. But let's get to some of your guys' comments. Let's see how everybody's feeling so far. I love how this did not save how I wanted it to. So let me fix this real quick so we can get some stuff going. All right. Laura said, it's been a party this year. Escape from the family. Yep. All right. Played? No. Anyone with a brain knew the Phillies needed to blow the Phillies out of the water. So the thing is, I don't want to say they did, but they beat the Phillies all for twice. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. We don't know if Mike got a third chance to beat the offer, right? They started at 3 for 100. Phillies came back and beat it at 4. And then they came back with 5, right? They gave the guy what he wanted, and they gave him, that's a good deal. 5 for 150. That's a really strong offer. Philly didn't even want to do it. They had a chance to do that last year, and they didn't. They would not go over 3 years for their own guy. And he still chose to go back there. It kind of sucks, but the Orioles, I think they played it right. They knew they had to overpay. They knew the years that he wanted. They went to it since Friday night, right? And today's Tuesday? So they've been there. They were making those, and they went to an uncomfortable range to sign Kyle Schwarber, and it still didn't work, right? They got leveraged, but they did what we as fans asked them to do, overpay somebody, right? His market value was just 25 a year, just 25 a year. It was 4 years, 100 million was his market value. They went 3 years, 100 million, try to get him at what was it, 33 a year, right off the rip. That's a strong offer, right? Pirates came in at 4 for 120. Phillies matched at 4 for 120, and we quickly went to 5 for 150. Like, it's not like they went 4 for 125, right? They added the extra year and another 30 million. Like that's the overpay that we've been asking them to do, and it wasn't good enough. Like, that's business, man. Sometimes it happens like that. BCB says Elias didn't learn his lesson. I think he did. It was the wrong guy to try to work this on. So now, not learning his lesson would be if you value Pete Alonso as your guy, and then you let him sign somewhere else, then I could say, yeah, we didn't learn that lesson. But right now, I think he did, but we'll see. Give Alonso 6 for 200. Nobody matches that. I don't think they do, actually. That's a lot of money. What's that? 200 divided by 6, 33 a year. Listen, Pete's going to take 6 years. I can promise you that. He wants 5, right? Nobody's giving him 5 right now. The Orioles may have. I don't know. And I actually tweeted this out with the whole Cabrera thing, right? With 3 years control, that's hard to acquire. It's really hard to acquire, honestly. You would have to think that Kobe Mayo would headline that package for Edward Cabrera. You would have to think. Why would they already be making that trade? And somebody else made a good point too. But either way, we'll assume either Kobe Mayo or Dylan Beavers and or Cowser headlines that trade. Why would you do that unless you had something lined up? Like, is Pete already lined up, or is Kyle Tucker already lined up? Those are the questions you got to ask. Like, you're not trading away your first baseman before you acquire a first baseman, are you? Like, unless you're planning on putting Basayo there full time, which I don't think you are just yet. So, just hypotheticals to think about. But yeah, I mean, if they want to go 5 for Pete, I think 5 locks it. I think Boston probably goes 5 as well. They were reluctant to yesterday. Is today a different story? Maybe. I mean, now the whole league has shown what the Orioles are willing to do for Kyle Schwarber, for just a DH. Like, I think everybody else is going to be like, okay, they're ready to play. So we're not going to just jerk around the years. So Boston's going to be ready to roll too. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to assume that they feature Mayo as the headline of the Cabrera trade. Does that mean they feel good about Alonso? So I was just saying. Sorry, I didn't read that faster. It's very possible, TJ. It's very possible. Elias loves this. He gets credit from delusional fans while not actually having to sign anyone significance. I don't think he loves the Jabo. I don't think so. Not just yet. Maybe a couple years ago, but now I think we can all agree that, like, I think the foot spin kind of stepped on him a little bit, and he knows that, like, it's do or die time. And if he dies here, he's lost his job. So I wouldn't say that he's excited. I honestly think he's pretty bummed. Chances we land Alonso. I don't know, to be honest with you. I may hear something in the morning. I haven't heard anything in the moment. But you're going to have to be aggressive. Boston's in on him. It's hard to pry people away from a big market like that who's got, quality players already there and a really good pitching staff and are primed to win now. Can you convince him that the Orioles are in a better position to win now than Boston? Like, I don't think you can, so you're going to have to pay a little more, but it's just about how aggressive they're going to have to want to be. Are they aggressive now if Kyle Tucker is back in play? Like, those are questions we just don't know yet. Praying for a big move by the O's tomorrow. You and everybody else here, brother. You and everybody else here. You don't make an offer like that for fake credit? I agree. You make an offer like the Pirates did. 4 for 120, knowing he wanted 5 years, knowing 4 for 120 wasn't going to get it done. I mean, 4 for 120, it's a solid offer, but it's like it wasn't going to get it done. I want Tucker and Alonso, then bring a Cabrera and Ranger. It's a damn good roster. It's a damn good roster. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I sat in a lobby for 2 days for no reason. Don't apologize. We still like you. I highly doubt you do that. I don't think you like me. Just mess with me, buddy. Let's see. Jim Duquette says he thinks the Orioles are the front runner for Alonso. Just put the pen to the paper at this point. Like, I broke myself getting that excited, really thinking that this was the turning point for Kyle. Like, I was dead set that, yeah, we were getting Kyle Schwarber. From the things that I had heard, the deal that I had heard, I was like, there's no way Philly's going to beat that. No way. And they did. They matched it. Now, is that even good for Philly? I don't know. They had a lot of holes. They weren't Kyle Schwarber away from going to make a run. And I think they know that too. But you had to sign him for their fans' sake. But they're getting older, for one. They're losing a good amount of pitching. Bullpen, they needed help. Yeah, they had Duran, but they needed somebody to get the ball to Duran. You know, you got Castellanos, who's just not performing. How much longer is Bryce Harper going to be Bryce Harper? You know, how much longer is Trey Turner going to be Trey Turner? You know, they've been trying to trade Alec Baum. They've been trying to trade Bryson Stott. Like, they weren't Kyle Schwarber away from making a run. And they dumped a lot of money into him. And good for them. Good for them. If they still have money to go sign other significant players, good for them. Right? But the Orioles were a pitcher and a hitter away from making a run. Maybe two pitchers, but I think Kyle Schwarber affected this team more than Philly, but it's just where he wanted to be. So I don't fault the guy. It just sucks that we got played for it. Alonso and Tucker, make your best offer. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Put up or shut up time now. Elias has to overpay. He does. He definitely does. And which is fine. You know, at this point, yeah, there's going to be some people that are going to complain about the contract that we hand out. And look, you know you got to overpay, so you just got to be ready to just see something when it finally does happen and just be like, damn, like he probably doesn't deserve that, but we had to do it. Right? We're not a valuable destination in baseball, right? We don't have amazing weather. You know, we don't have a beach that's pretty close to a stadium. You know, we have blistering hot summer times, and it's cold in freaking April, and it's cold in September and October. Like, what are you gonna do, right? We got nice stadium. You know, we got fans that truly do love the team when they are winning, and they'll let you know it when you're not. You know, we've got some diehard fans here, but that's all you got to sell to somebody right now is money and the possibility. So they just need somebody to just take that possibility right now and just really help them. Amaya signing would be the most interesting thing this front office has ever done. A man can dream. Pablo, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It would change things. Plus, it helps you get in that market, just like, you know, they've been in for a while, but it definitely helps a lot of things out if they can. Again, you just got to get one guy to sign. For Alonso, they're just going to have to, we'll just have to. Yeah, you're just going to have to overpay. 6 for $190 for Pete right now. Do it. If that's what it takes. People are going to complain about the contract, whatever. It's going to be the largest contract in franchise history. Again, whatever. You talked a big game. You got to be ready to pay that amount of money. 6 for $200 for Alonso, sign Framber, and then trade for Cabrera, and let's ride. I think that's a solid team. Lots of talk, no action. I wouldn't say no action. It's just no pen to paper. The action was there. Things got hot, but they just didn't get hot enough. The reason why they keep think it's Baltimore, not the team, it's not too many ways to get advertising money outside of rural farms. I mean, a little bit. I mean, T-Row Price got a lot of money around here, but there's money to be had around here. It's just, I don't know. The O's got enough money as it is. They don't need too much advertising money. Pete, 4 years, $400 million, just get someone to sign a damn piece of paper. Now that one I think is a little overboard, just a little bit. Isn't Cabrera another injury-prone pitcher? He's had some injuries, but he's made it back. listen, anybody who has a shoulder attached to him and picks up a baseball and steps on a mound is considered injury prone from 2025 on. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they've never missed an inning of baseball. From this point on, the way that baseball is played, every single person who steps on a mound is an injury waiting to happen. It's just where we are in the game. There's nothing to get around it right now. Pretty much, if you can get somebody to make 27 starts a season, you are damn lucky at this point. Damn lucky. Now, guys obviously still do it, but there's just that many injuries around baseball now that just to miss out on a guy who might be injury prone. Now, injury prone would be like if they got hurt every freaking year, but like 1 or 2 injuries at this point, it's just, it ain't the old Iron Man days. Let's just put it that way. This deal makes me think a big hitter is coming because Mayo and Beavers would have been involved. Right. If they pulled that deal off. I completely agree with you, Cozy. My only concern is 137 innings last year is his highest. Yeah, the Marlins are a lot like the Orioles have been. They've always had their guys on pitch limits, especially because of their ages. They did it with some of the younger guys this past year. Was it Yuri Perez? I think it was. He's been on innings limit for 2 years. They try to do this to prevent guys from getting hurt, and the Orioles did it with Grayson Rodriguez, and they still get hurt anyway. So, like I said, every single person that steps on a mound nowadays is basically just a walking mummy. It's just when if they get hurt. So, these other teams don't care. Dodgers don't care, right? Their whole freaking starting rotation gets hurt like once a week. They just next guy up. They just buy enough guys where then they have a next guy up. So, you just got to put yourself in that situation. Is that how you pronounce Amaya? I have no idea. Don't hold that against me. I have no clue. I don't even try to pronounce the first name. That's how bad it is I am at pronouncing names. Are people still in on Are people still in on Sandy Alcantara? Maybe. I think the Yankees probably are at this point. Are the Orioles maybe too? I don't know. It definitely seemed like his market really calmed down, that's for sure. No, they get 3 starting pitchers on multi-year deal. I see 1 free agent, 1 trade, maybe Eflin back. I mean, even that is still a successful season, in my opinion, or off-season, I should say. If you're able to land 3 guys, I don't think Zach Eflin's done by any means. Like, if you get him back and his back is okay, like Zach Eflin has shown he's a quality pitcher. Now, you don't need him to be the number 2 anymore either, right? Zach Eflin could be your 4 or 5, and you're in a really good spot, in my opinion. I think Zach Eflin might be better than Dean Kramer when he's healthy. Now, Dean gives us some pretty good outings and stuff at times, but Zach does too. So I think that would be fine. Zach Eflin's still going to throw some quality innings in this league. I don't care if a deal comes to at 2 a.m. I just need that notey. I think we all agree with you, Austin. You fear that nobody wants to come to the Orioles. It seems that way, but eventually somebody's going to take that swing, and they're going to come here eventually. I hope. If not, I don't think Michael Elias is going to be here. Sounds like the Mets won't give Alonso length and Red Sox prioritizing Bregman. That's the time to pounce. Now, unless Alonso really wants to drag it out and wait for the Red Sox, like, now's your time. Now's your time. Joe, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? David Stern doesn't want Alonso, so Orioles won't have to worry about him returning to his old team. Listen, that could be smoke and mirrors. It could be smoke and mirrors. Could we be leveraged again? Anything is possible at this point. Anything. I wouldn't get too excited about the Mets presumably being out. They're not out until pen hits paper on another team. Let's put it that way. Who's the next free agent that will use the Orioles for leverage? Could be any one of them. Now, why I think Kyle Tucker is probably a safer bet is because Kyle Tucker really doesn't have a team to go back to. Like, the Cubs are presumably out on him. You haven't heard too much that they're trying to bring him back. The Astros are presumably out. Like, they're really not trying to spend a whole lot of money right now. So he doesn't really have a team to go back to. So maybe that Kyle Tucker is the guy that doesn't. I don't know. Edward Cabrera, really? I mean, he's okay. Like, he shouldn't be your only move, but if he's a complement move to Ranger Suarez, I think that puts your rotation in a pretty good spot. O's get the 7th pick next year, man. That sucks. Listen, They should not be rewarded for that season last year. They shouldn't. Would I want the first overall pick? Sure, whatever. Give me a good player, but don't reward them for it. You're still going to get a pretty good player at 7 anyway. Maybe a pitcher, hopefully. But I wouldn't want to be rewarded for that. If the Orioles front office thought attendance was bad last year, just wait to see what it is we swing and miss this offseason against too. Overpay to get butts in the seats. I don't think you're wrong in saying that, Austin. I really don't. I listen, if they don't do anything this year, I think you might even find fans that just don't even root for the team anymore. Like, you talked a hell of a big game. Like, we're talking, if you swing and miss after the things that you said this year, you might not ever get another job again. At least in an area where contracts are involved, right? You might get a scouting job because you're really good at that. But I'm going to tell you, dude, he talked a big game. Big game. Like, he was out here acting like Stephen Cohen. So, you better figure it out. And I like Mike. Penn's got to hit a paper, though. Penn has got to hit a paper at this point. Orioles will need to overpay Pete 5 for 180. Get it done. Get it done. I was talking to Andy Kotza a little bit when we were talking about this deal earlier before it got announced, and I was like, do you think the Orioles would go 5 for 175 for Kyle to just make sure they get it done? All right, we already knew we were at 5 for 150. And I'm like, Andy, do you think they'd go 5 for 175? And he's like, I don't think so. He's like, that's a lot of money, man. And I was like, it is. I was like, but if you want the guy, you got to go that high, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know. We don't even know if Mike Elias got the chance after Philly matched, if he even got another chance to make another offer. It might have just been like, hey, this is what I want. Philly got it. And he told Casey to sign the deal. Casey being from Excel Sports, his agent. So we don't know. We probably won't know that. But again, good for Kyle. Sucks for us. What else we got here? I really don't think Alonso's contract would be too crazy with the Red Sox prioritizing to keep Bregman. I wouldn't even chance it. If you want him, if you prioritize him, if he's your guy because Kyle signed, get it done. Don't worry about trying to like make things fit. Don't worry about your little, whatever they follow, their algorithms and stuff. Is he going to be good in year 5 or whatever? Who cares? Get it done. Put the pen in the paper. Let's get it done. That's how I feel. I've been saying 6 for 200 length and money probably makes most teams very uncomfortable matching. It would probably make the Orioles pretty uncomfortable too, to be honest with you. But at this point, if you get 4 really good years out of Pete Alonso and then like a 5th and you just cut him in the 6th, like whatever. If you've won a bunch of games and maybe made a World Series in that time frame, like I think you're pretty happy with that contract. So who cares? You're going to make the revenue back. If you sign big players, you win baseball games, butts are going to be in seats. You're going to have commercials and you're going to have TV deals. You're going to get on primetime games. You are going to make the money back. Probably within 2 years. You could give Pete Alonso $200 million right now and you'll make it back. You just made $366 million in revenue just last year. So another year of that, and that was a team that won 75 games, 74, whatever they won, made $366 million in revenue. You sign Pete Alonso and bring in maybe another 2 other guys, right? And you spend, and we'll say $500 million this year. Well, guess what? You just made that back in 2 seasons. Maybe 1.5, right? Because you started winning games and more people came out. You started getting more primetime games. You started getting more TV coverage. It's what the Dodgers did with Ohtani. Gave him $750 million or $700 million or whatever they did. Well, you know what? Guess who made back that $700 million in less than 2 years? The freaking Dodgers. Right? They went from making only $400 million in revenue to $700. So, hello, light bulbs. Hopefully somebody's listening. So the Reds were only willing to pay Schwarber? No. I mean, yeah, that's what they said. That's what people are complaining about right now. They said that they don't feel like they're going to allocate that money elsewhere at the moment. They were only willing to sign Schwarber to put butts in seats because he was a hometown guy. They thought they would sell more tickets. That's all they did. Let's see. 6 for 200 will get it done. Nobody will match. 3 for 150. I wonder if anybody matches that for Pete. Maybe. James says, no thank you to Cabrera. Listen, I don't think we can be, beggars can't be choosers at the moment. What about Gore versus the AL East? Let's take a look. It's a good question. Let's go back to this. Can you see that? Yeah. All right, let's go career. Actually, you know what? I won't even do career. I'll do, we'll just do since 2024 because he hasn't missed too many starts. So he's had 62 starts. Baltimore, Boston, New York, Tampa, Toronto. 4.15 ERA for Mackenzie Gore against the East in 7 starts, which is decent. But a 297 average against, 27% K rate, a 1.62 whip. So here's the funny man. Look, a 4.15 ERA, but he's got a 2.95 FIP and a 3.19 xFIP. So they're basically saying he gets unlucky, even though he gets up a lot of hits. So are they duck farts? Doesn't look like it. He's only got 9% soft rate, so I don't know. They don't seem like they're duck farts, that's for sure. We can go back to this. We can do, let's see what Mackenzie Gore does with his pitches. Holy crap, 1,400 of you watching right now between Twitter and YouTube. You guys are champions. 1,400 of you. 101 people on YouTube. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I guess this is a good time to plug it. Make sure you're liking the stream here. We've got 17 likes right now with 101 people looking. So if you haven't liked the stream, please do that. Share with your friends. Sub if you're new here. And then, if you're bored and you want to become a member or whatever, or super chat or whatever you want to, it's not expected. It just helps me make content like this for more. It helps me pay for these subscriptions and stuff like this so I can get these content out. I am a stat nerd, so if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, if you're on YouTube and don't follow me on Twitter, I see a lot of you on Twitter. I spit out stupid amount of stats all day long because I look at this all day long. And if you're over there and you haven't followed me on Twitter, go ahead and give me a follow. So let's do the last 2 years against the AL East here. Did it? Yeah, it did go to Gore. All right, so we'll just do his. We'll stick with his off speed. Teams AL East. Okay, so his off speed's a 279. So not great. He's given up only just 2 home runs and 65 plate appearances, 26 Ks. He's got a 40% K rate with his off speed against the East. Let's see, a fastball. He's got just a 15% K rate, 329 average against. Sweepers, never thrown it against us. And the cutter, a 235 average. The cutter with 33% K rate. It's just 18 appearances or 18 plate appearances. So he hasn't pitched too much against the East. What was it? 34 innings, 7 games. So it's, Mackenzie Gore's probably about the same. But you got to remember, these guys are young. These guys are young, and they're coming from organizations that have been kind of flipped over in the last 2 years. A lot of new changing faces in the coaching department. I don't want to say they're bad baseball teams, but they haven't been very good. So, could you get them out of that environment and they become better? Yeah, I think so. I mean, just look at Kyle Finnegan last year, right? Some of you guys that have seen that video, he left D.C. with, numbers. Goes to Detroit and absolutely shoves, right? And they make just a couple little adjustments. The same things could happen to Mackenzie Gore and Edward Cabrera. You just got to find the right spot. You got to find the right team, the right spot. A lot of different things that you can kind of go after, but you're going to have to take a chance here eventually. Could the Mets not potentially letting Diaz know about the Devin Williams signing hurt their chances of keeping Diaz? I think they knew a long time ago they had no chance to keep Diaz, and I think they tried. There was the rumor that they offered him $22 million a year, and he took 23 from the Dodgers. If that happened, he just wanted out. Now, to your point here, could it have been because of that? I don't think so, because he knew he was still the guy. And it just helps you get somebody that can hand you the ball. But something else must have happened for him to just say, see ya for $1 million, in my opinion. Copy and paste the offer to Schwarber, or however you spell it, to Alonso, and get it done. Sign a top starter, and I'll start to lean Amaya, and you can honestly trade for any starter available. So Ben Foster says, hey, Ben, I think you're on point there. if that's what it takes. And look, you can sign a starter, you can trade for a starter, and then you can still maybe land a Maya too. Like, you just put yourself in a really good spot in this offseason. But that's just me. Evening, fellow baseball enthusiast. Me? I don't like baseball, do I? What makes you think I like baseball? Just kidding. What's up, Rick? How you doing, brother? Do you think it'll be another slow day tomorrow? It'll be the bunch of signings. Let me tell you right now. If it's slow tomorrow, like, do you think anybody's paying attention next year? Like, obviously, like, the diehards will, but, like, the casuals that, like, you really hyped this up for, that were, like, kind of refreshing Twitter all day, you think they're paying attention next year if something doesn't happen? They better figure something out, because it's been boring as hell. James says, if Cabrera is Elias's idea of liftoff, then it'd be a crash and burn season. I don't think he would be like the get, so to say. I think he's a compliment. I think we all can agree that if they sign a bat, there's a few guys on this roster that are available. This could be just that, and they're just getting ahead of that early. I don't know. So we'll see. It's just a wait and see at this point. You see what this numbnuts is doing back there? Yeah, you. What the heck are you doing back there? You're crazy. Sorry about that. All right. Sounds like another Marlins starter who they won't let throw off speed. That means let him throw it a little bit. Come on. Are you coming up or what? Come on. You want to come say hi to everybody? Come on. Come on. You want to say hi? You want to give me my hugs? My kisses? Okay. All right. You want to say hi to the camera? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Get down now? All right. You got your moment of fame. All right. He was getting feeling a little left out over here. All right. Sounds like another Marlins starter who they won't let throw off speed. I think they do a little bit. Don't be annoying now. Stop. All right. A cheap pitching option. No surprise there. Like, I wouldn't call him cheap because it's going to cost you a good amount to acquire him. And that's a guy that's probably, he's on track to get a fairly good contract in 3 years. I would rather go after Peralta. I would too. He's just stealing a show back here. What would I give up for Luis Castillo's team option in 2029? Or who would I give up? I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Castillo. I'd have to really look back into him. Last year I looked into him, and he was just like an okay thing. I have to look into it again. I don't want to answer that without looking into it. Luis Castillo is not the move. He's regressed so much recently. There you go. I'll look into it, and I'll get back to you at Orioles. I'm not 1,000% sure right now. If he met with teams in person, you would think something had happened. That's how I felt. I mean, look, the Orioles flew down and met with Kyle Schwarber, obviously, because things got really serious. They offered him a big-time contract. They basically interviewed each other. So if Pete is down already talking to the Orioles and the Red Sox, like, things are getting serious. So, again, pen's got to hit the damn paper at this point. We can only say it so many times. Can Beavers play center field? I wonder what his role would be if the Tucker signing. Sure, he can. Can he do it great? From what I've heard, no. It's an adventure, is what I've heard. But just, with new coaches, Jason Voorhees, you never know. You just never know. They could really make him turn. A couple different things from different coaches could make him figure it all out. He's still a young guy. He's fast. He's faster than Kowser. I wouldn't say no. I think it would be some time to kind of maybe work him into it. We'll see. I'm comfortably numb. That's how I feel, Mentos. That's how I feel. I was a little numb after today. I'm not even going to lie. I was expecting big things. Now, I still am. Now, like we talked about earlier, there's just two of the big names have really come off the board out of several. So there's still room to have a nice offseason. They just got to hit pen to the paper. I can only say it. We're going to start playing a drinking game. Every time I say take a shot, I'm going to have you all drunk here in the next 10 minutes. Big Pete would be happy to take Rubenstein's money. Go O's. You say that. You say that. Right now I feel like everybody likes to see the money, but nobody wants to take it just yet. So we'll see. We'll see. You mentioned they wanted Schwarber and Alonso. You think they go for Alonso and Tucker? It's very possible. Anything. Excuse me. Anything's possible right now. The text that I got after the Schwarber decline was every single player is on the table. And I said, does that mean Ketel Marte and Skubal? And it said everyone is on the table. So I think Mike realizes that, like, got to get something done. So it sounds like they're going to turn over every stone possible and figure something out, which is good. Orioles offer Schwarber 150. Yep. They did. It wasn't enough, man. So it's pretty cool to see our boy Gunnar be playing for Team USA. That'd be fun to watch. It's definitely going to give us a reason to watch. I think, when Adam Jones and Machado played in their respected years, I think a lot of this fan base watched and they saw some electric stuff. And I think you'll see some more of that. And watching Gunnar and Bobby Witt play next to each other, man, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Just stay healthy. I'm with you, Jabba. Just stay healthy at this point. Is Edward Cabrera a trade or a part 2 of another move? It's a great question. Yes. Let's just say that. Could be a yes to both. So I'll just say yes. Schwarber pick, go back to Philly? Yeah, he did, man. It sucks. Can't be a headline move, that's for sure. I agree with that. I think Mike knows that too. How much of what the O's front office Elias do is ownership about mandating him to be aggressive and spend versus Elias just wanting to? Great question. Oh, don't you dare say that. I just saw a Twitter pop up. Red Sox talking with Texas about Corey Seager. Get the hell out of here. I think ownership has stepped on Mike's toes just a touch. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That nobody has told me that. It just seems that the attitude and the demeanor has changed significantly from last year. So something happened. I don't know. Edward Cabrera is a good complementary pitching move. I would agree with that, as long as he's not the guy. Why does everybody hate my guy Mountcastle? I wouldn't say anybody hates him. As a person, everybody likes him, but as a first baseman who doesn't hit home runs, I think it's just annoyed people at this point. But I don't think anybody hates him. He's a great dude. So basically, Mike to match or exceed until Kyle got to 5 years, cut bait. From what I heard, and it's funny is like Ken Rosenthal said the opposite of what I heard, but then the Philly beat writers and the Philly radio stations are saying exactly what I heard, that the Orioles got there and Philly had to match. Now is Dave Dombrowski basically asking Ken Rosenthal to do some damage control and say that the Orioles matched? Because I don't think the Orioles matched. I think the Orioles got to that point and Dave had to match. So that's just me. That's what I was told. My guy hasn't missed too much yet. So I don't know. But I think the Orioles got to where they needed to be and it just didn't work out. Kind of sucks. How safe is Elias's job, by the way? Bad start to next season or a bad offseason? Is he gone? I think that conversation starts internally if this is a bad offseason. Seeing everyone else around you get significantly better, and you still know the Yankees at some point are going to wake up and sign somebody or trade for somebody or something. But if everybody around you gets better and you don't, and you have another offseason like last year, I think at that point, like, these guys they're sharks and they're investors and they invest money to make money. And if you're not spending their money that you want them to, or they want you to, I think they're going to find somebody else to do it. Like, because they know, and they don't get to where they are in life without spending money. You got to spend money to make money. And if you're not spending it, like, they're going to find somebody who will willingly, in my opinion. You love listening to me. It's so soothing. It's nice of you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. It must be the new microphone. Nobody's commented on it yet. Yesterday was actually kind of bad. I'm surprised none of you guys told me. I had the gain up way too high, and it was way too loud. It was clipping. It was distorting. Somebody should have said, Zach, you sound like crap. Fix it. Figure it out, right? I'm a perfectionist here. I want to sound great. You hope I'm right. And if I'm wrong, you can throw a pie in my face. How about that? I'm wrong all the time, so get the pies lined up, dang it. As a Phillies fan, I was hoping for a bidding war, and it was a bidding war. Yeah, It was. It was. And you guys won. It sucked for me. The O's need Alonso. They need something. That's right. Is it rare for signings to happen at night or overnight? No, because think about it. These guys are sitting around a bar right now and they're shiitake-faced drunk, right? I was going to say something else, but I'm on YouTube and I can't. They're hammered, you know? They're having a good time and they start talking about stuff. Something else. I was reading a Twitter post and I've seen Cabrera pop up. It's very possible, you know? Guys start chit-chatting around. You know, people are walking by and they're listening while they're hammered drunk and they go back and they text and this, and this, and things happen quickly, you know. But yeah, it's very possible it could happen. Very, very possible. Unlikely we could get Gunnar, Alonso, Tucker, Ward in that lineup in that order. Very well could. Very well could. That would be a good lineup. A very good lineup. Did I see the Orioles are signing another reliever? I did not, but who? Because we need one. Who did we sign? Let me go back and look here. I'm going to scour Twitter here for just a second. I don't see anything. Who did we sign? I seen there Brendan Donovan. I've seen that. I seen Gregory Soto went to the Pirates. Good for him. I'm glad he's not back here. I don't know. Let's see. I'm fully prepared for Alonso to go to Boston and Tucker to go to the Jays, and we settle for a trade for our starters and move as the offseason. Infield Ketel Marte is heating up. Golly, man. I did hear that we were in on Ketel Marte, so maybe that would be cool. What is the payroll without arbitration? How much can they spend to be under the tax? Break that down and how they can spend on. So Jack, they are with estimated or without arbitration right now, they're at 49, I think they said, and an estimated arbitration salaries to be about 108. And with the luxury tax, that threshold is at what, 245 or 246. So you roughly. We can ballpark it here. So I think some of the arbitration may go a little bit higher. We'll probably be at 108, maybe 110. But you roughly can spend 120, 130 million in annual contracts this year and still be under the threshold. Are they going to do it? I don't know. Mike said they're willing to go into the red. The red meaning you go over the threshold, right? Because you only got to do it one time. Then you can come back down. So you could technically spend 150 this offseason if you wanted to, which is Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, Amaya, Ranger, and then you still have maybe money for Kyle Finnegan, and then you could maybe trade for somebody at that point too, who you assume they're, we'll say $6 to $10 million contract, whatever they're on currently or whatever the arbitration is. You have the means to do it. Pen has got to hit the paper. It's got to hit the freaking paper, man. That's where we're at. I don't think we would have the same problem with Alonso as far as his former team matching and his offer. I don't think he wants to go back to New York. It's hard to leave a place, and it's hard for me to say that he doesn't want to go back to New York. I don't know. I'm not getting excited on anything right now. Let's put it that way. Philly's trying to get in the Japanese market. Everybody should. I mean, Japan plays some great baseball. Excuse me. So we have to overpay to get players to come here. Is it specifically because the area or more lack of faith in his front office or other reasons? I mean, you kind of have to think about it. Like, have we been the team that has spent for years? No, right? So do they really take you serious when you make an offer? Like, did anybody take the Pirates serious when they offered Kyle Schwarber? They didn't. Did anybody really take the Reds serious outside of the Reds? No. Because they don't do it enough, right? So you're lumped into that, right? You're a team that hasn't spent enough, right? So they really don't know if you're serious. You haven't shown and you haven't been able to convince anybody to sign, and you haven't locked anybody up long term to convince them that you're willing to win long term. And then like when it comes down to like demographics, like if you had a chance to live in LA, right, and play in a fairly sold out crowd and then have a chance to win a World Series, or come to Baltimore for we'll say like $3 to $5 million more a year. Like, what are you choosing? You're probably going to choose LA, like beaches, just awesome weather. It's LA, good fan base, good team. So what we have to realize is we were just a 74-win team, right? And now we're trying to outbid and convince these guys that we're better than teams that just either won the division or made the playoffs. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. Not at all. We're going to have to figure out a way to do it. Once you get one of them to sign, though, then the confidence comes in for everybody else. But you got to get that one guy. You got to convince that one guy that this is the right spot for them. Who? Don't know. Stop it. See, on the bright side, the Anaheim Ducks won tonight in a shootout. If they beat the Capitals again, I'm going to pie you in the face, Jason. No, I'm just kidding. Damn right. I don't know what we're damn writing, but yes. Boston can't afford both Bregman and Pete. I think Pete will be here 4 years, $108 million. What's 108 for? What is that? 20? Is it 22? 27. Maybe. If nobody else gives him 27, why not? Right? That's how I feel about it. Eric says, what would a package look like for Cabrera, hypothetically? It's a good question. I really don't know. I don't know. I would think with 3 years control, you would have to think that Kobe Mayo would have to be involved, or Beavers, or Kauser, or dare I say it, Westberg, but they better not do that. You would have to think somebody of significance would have to be available. Now, do they maybe send Dean Kramer back in that because he's a controllable arm? Would they send maybe Cade Povich back in that, and which would lessen the blow of Kobe Mayo? I don't know. It really does come down to what the Marlins value. Like, do they have room for Kobe Mayo? We could say that, Kobe Mayo is our best guy. He has our most value. But, like, if a team doesn't need Kobe Mayo, like, he doesn't headline that package to begin with, right? Now, they could say, hey, I really like Enrique Bradfield Jr., and then, this so-and-so pitcher, and then maybe one other guy. There's your package. But it depends on what they need the most. They need hitting. Do they need an outfitter? I don't know what they need. I could talk to some Marlin fans and ask, but depends on who you talk to. You're going to get different answers too. So that one's just it's a tough call. It's very easy for me to say, Kobe Mayo, right? But if first base for them and DH is locked up, then Kobe Mayo's not doing it for him. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of sucks, but they're hard to kind of figure out what they want, and we don't know what their GM values either. So I don't know. Luke said, who's my top pitching target? That's a good question, man. There's concerns about all of them, obviously, because you're going to nitpick everybody when it starts coming in. Just sign one. I don't care. I'd be completely honest. I don't want Zach Allen. I know that. I don't want Zach Allen. But as far as a top guy, I would probably say Ranger. I would take Ranger over Framber. Would I complain at all about Framber? Hell no. I would still take Amaya. That second tier, I would probably take probably Merrill Kelly. I like Merrill Kelly. I like Zach King. I'm Zach King. I like Michael King a lot. So I'll put Michael King up there with Framber and Ranger. Give me one of those three. Give me Merrill Kelly. I would still take Zach Eflin back. I would put him maybe at like tier 3, just because of the down year last year and the injuries. But I still think he's a quality pitcher. So you bring me two of those guys, I'm pretty happy. But I'm not picky at all at this point. Like, just give me something. I know there are concerns, but I really want the Orioles to give Mayo a full 162. He has a 40 home run, 35 double potential. Just double down. So listen, I've said it before. I think Kobe Mayo, the team is happy if he's here because I think they see the same potential that you see here, Green. It just comes down to Kobe Mayo does hold the most value. So if they do sign a big bat, he just has the best value to be traded for an arm. If they find a way where he's on the team for the full season, I think they're still okay with that, and they hope, and they're going to really double down on trying to get him ready to go. And then he does turn into something like that because he could, and then you have that kind of hitter for 6 years or 5 left. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I think at this point, I'd rather have the guy that I know is going to happen, and then bring back some pitching that you know is going to help. So I think they're operating under that stance. You thought he was going back to Tampa? Eflin? He might. He really might. It'd be a great spot for him. The Orioles are in win now mode, no more developing prospects in this lineup. I think the only one that you have time to possibly develop would be Bradfield because the defense is so freaking good. That would other than that, I 1,000% agree with you. You heard the Mets are out on Valdez. Interesting. So apparently Valdez was sending like a highlight clip around above himself, like a 20-minute highlight clip, trying to like up his value because just the market hasn't been there for what he expected. But we'll see. Cabrera's also in arbitration. He has 1 year left. I think he has 3. I thought Cabrera was through 2028. He's around for a while, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's not a free agent until 2029. So his arbitration is up next year. He's only got 3 years service time. So this is his first year of arbitration eligibility. So the number is going to be low this year, and then it's only going to get better after that. But yeah, he's good through 2028 seasons. You got 3 years of him. It's not going to be cheap. Dodgers going for Skubal. The Orioles are going to go for Edward Cabrera. The difference is, though, Jabo, the Orioles would have to go from their major league roster in an abundance. And we're talking Westberg and Holiday for a rental. Where the Dodgers have, 7 or 8 guys in the top 100, and they can lessen that blow. They can send just one major league guy who's probably not as good, and then like 4 guys out of the top 100 again for a rental. And let's be honest with ourselves. And I was talking with somebody about this earlier. The Orioles might have had a package together for Garrett Crochet last year. We don't know. We never heard. Who's to say that the Orioles weren't the favorite to land him, but he would not sign an extension? And Mike was like, I'm not giving these guys up for 1 year. Right? Where Boston talked to him and he's like, oh, I'd sign an extension to Boston. Like, I know they're going for it. They could have gotten Crochet, but then they could have wasted some guys and not had him this year. Where same thing with the Dodgers. Like, if the Dodgers acquire Skubal, like, they know they have probably an 80 to 90% chance to re-sign Skubal. Who cares if they give up 4, 5, 6 top 100 prospects? They don't, because they know they have a good chance of re-signing him. If the Orioles talk to the Tigers and they're like, hey, I'm only going to give you Jackson Holiday and Jordan Westberg and then some. If he agrees to an extension, can I talk to his agent? Talk to the agent. Agent's like, nah, I think we're going to test free agency. It would be stupid for the Orioles to give that up for a rental. Those are the little things. So are we playing a different game? We are. One, because their system is just better. And 2, we have to get that first person to sign here. And then we might be playing in the same ballpark. I doubt it within the next 2 years, maybe 3 years. But it's got to start somewhere eventually. So yes, we are playing a different game. It kind of sucks. But you got to do what you got to do. This is why the drafting and developing is such a big deal, because it's very hard to compete with those guys. Can you spend with them? Sure. But it's also easier if you just get guys that just develop. If the O's shell out cash, the fans will show. I completely agree with you. The Cabrera talk makes me think Rodriguez's arm is really cooked. They at least bring in KT, hoping for Alonso. Yeah, maybe. Which Rodriguez? You talking about Grayson? There's a lot going on with Grayson. That way deeper than just his arm. Alonso, Peralta, and King. That would be an exceptional offseason right there, Methos. An exceptional offseason. Oh, this is why we need an actual GM. Basically, the president of baseball operations is a GM who just gets paid more money. They still do the same thing. Mike Elias loves to talk. I think he doesn't, actually. I think he wants to like skip around so you don't ask him the questions because he doesn't want to play his hand. I'm here. I watched the Penguins lose 1 second left, or a 0.1 second left on the clock. How we doing? I'm going to jump off the warehouse. Ah, man. Damn Pittsburgh fans. No, I'm just kidding. Alonzo, Belly, Ranger, and Cabrera. Wouldn't complain to get at least 2 of those bullpen, and then get 2 bullpen arms. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you there. It would put us in a great spot. Let's hope that KS is good with the future with Scott Boras' contract. Who's KS? What am I missing here? Who's KS? My apologies. Can I pet the dog? The Eagle operator. Hey, brother. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping in. Let's see here. If O's swing and miss in free agency, maybe they just stick to trades and build a team. I don't know. Peralta, Cabrera, Alcantara, and other hitters. You could. I think you still got to get somebody to sign here just to prove to people that you can close. Bring Pete to that future All-Star Game home run derby. There you go. I'm telling you right there, I would put some butts in seats right there. I want Ranger and Pete. Let's see. Hey, brother, hearing the market is heating up very heavily for Edward from the Marlins. Ideally, we would trade Mayo and go get Pete. Do you think we would get one starting pitcher besides Cabrera from the Marlins? Yeah. They're heavy on Ranger Suarez. You just got to get pen to paper at this point. I haven't really heard of too many other teams really being in on Ranger. You would think the deal would get done, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you think the Orioles would get past our peak payroll of last year? They better. They better. Let's put it that way. They better. If you don't, I think it's a failure. You think Gore would be more expensive than Cabrera or no? I would prefer Gore, but does Cabrera control change things? I think they both have the same amount of control. Gore, I think, obviously being left-handed is going to cost more. It's just the price you pay for left-handed pitching. It's very hard to find. So, yeah, he's always going to cost more. I'm the best O's live chat. I appreciate that. Am I worried about Rangers' lack of velocity? Not necessarily. Listen, if he dropped to 88, yeah, I'd be a little worried. But 90, 91 still plays in this league. Yeah, his off speed is elite. And as long as that doesn't go away, his 90 to 91 is still going to play just fine because the other pitches are that good, right? All you got to do is just get the fastball over and hope it doesn't get hit out of the ballpark. But other than that, like the slider, the changeup, the curveball is freaking good. So I'm not that worried. Not that worried. You think Kobe Mayo is better than Pete Alonso long term? I don't think we've seen enough of Kobe Mayo to make that decision just yet. Not just yet. Hearing anything else? I have been live and I have not been checking my chat. Andy Kotza sent me a message. Andy and I may go do a live tomorrow together. Maybe tomorrow. I'm responding to him now. Okay, sorry about that. So I was checking to see if I heard anything else. My messages are empty at the moment. Frank the Tank had an epic crash out over the Diaz signing. Listen, I might do that if we don't sign anybody this offseason, just for pure enjoyment for you Orioles fans, because somebody's got to do it eventually, right? Marlins deal tonight seems imminent. Maybe. Oh, do you think Alonso wants to get a deal done soon to avoid the holdout he had with the Mets? Somebody made a good point earlier. Like, I forget who I was talking to. It was Sean, the guy I'm in a Discord with, Sean Whipple. He's in the chats at times. The Mets now have kind of jerked him around for 2 years. Like, at what point do you say, like, I'm not going back there? Like, at first they held on to you for a long time. They let you go find a deal. You didn't find one, and they kind of just gave you whatever. And then this year, like, oh, we're not going over 3 years. Like, but you've done so much for him. Oh, we're not going over 3 years. Like, at one point, you just throw in a towel and say, like, thanks. Like, we had a good run, but I'm done. So I maybe he may be trying to get a deal done soon to avoid that. Maybe to stick it to him as well. I don't know. I don't know. You were pretty locked in today. I think we all were, man. I'd be lying to you if I said I got a lot done at work today. I was refreshing a lot. Imai, soft E. Imai. Not Amaya. Amaya sounds better in my opinion. Imai sounds cool too, but Amaya sounds better. Appreciate the fix there. I never know how to pronounce anything. And honestly, I'll probably forget by tomorrow. Appreciate that though. Imai. Yeah, I'm going to forget by tomorrow. Remind me not to bring into Pigtown's house. He's over there sleeping, bro. Nah, he's a shepherd Shar-Pei. He got a little nasty bark to him. He bites me all day long. Going to need a guard dog. O's aren't coming looking for you here soon with these leaks. From what I've heard, it's what Andy told me. They're not too happy with me. Orioles PR knows my name apparently. If this is another move following a signing, the signing would have had to be done sooner than later. Not necessarily, because trades obviously just happen where signings take physicals. Are they doing a physical in the morning? A lot could be in play. I feel like we might get Ranger Suarez. He would look really good in orange and black. I completely agree with you, Rick. He's a corner outfitter, damn good right fielder. I think you're talking about Beavers, but I would agree with you. Backup plan if Tucker and Alonso fall through. Me, personally, I'm going after Bellinger and Bichette. I would put Bellinger at first base, even though I already have a left-handed first baseman in Basayo. But they can rotate between DH. I'm going to get Bichette. I'm going to put him at second base. I'm going to put Jackson Holly in center field. And I know you're going to kill me for saying that, but that's what I want to do. Roast me later. Beavers has ADHD in center field, sadly. What's wrong with ADHD? Can't you tell that I have it? Come on now. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. I would probably say Kowser does too, but that's fine. Eventually, they're going to lock in and go find a ball that they shouldn't catch and catch it. Right? That's what ADHD guys do. If Tucker comes to the O's, I don't care about whatever position Kowser plays. I don't think anybody does. Judd Fabian has the sneakiest arm. Defensively fantastic. Needs to cut down on the K's. So bad batting last year. Judd Fabian's great defensively. Great. He's pretty fast. He's not as fast as Bradfield, but he's really fast. Great arm. Pretty good glove. He's going to go get the ball. He does have a lot of power. It's just there's some swing and miss in the game. A lot of it. Cool guy. Who is my source? You and about 90 other people have been asking. And if I told you, I wouldn't have one anymore. So we're just not going to blow that up. Because good things are coming, and that we've been providing good things to the fan base, and we want to keep that going. So we don't want to blow that. Is it a front office guy? I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't know who it is. I don't. He uses a burner account. I think it could be real. I don't know. To me, it looks like a burner account. And just we have conversations. That's about it. We have conversations. We both really enjoy baseball. I don't even think he's affiliated with the Orioles. Let's put it that way. I don't. Other than that, I have zero clue who he is. I've asked. I didn't get much of an answer, but he's good for our fan base right now. Let's just put it that way. Let's not ruin a good thing. He's very, very good for our fan base. Trade for Cole Reagans. Give Pete 6 years. We need his 100 RBIs in the worst way possible every day. Completely agree with you, John. LA reporter saying Screwball to the Dodgers deal is in place with framework done, awaiting long-term extension and ownership approval in Detroit. Detroit would be stupid to trade him, right? Owners should be stripped of their team, to be honest with you. You can't say that you're a good team. You can't make the playoffs in back-to-back years. Or did they make it last year? I don't even remember. I don't think they made it, did they? Either way, quality baseball team. You cannot trade a guy at that caliber and expect to ever tell your guys that we want to go win. You just don't do it. But if they want to do that and they want to be stupid, that's on them. Doesn't matter who you get back. Doesn't make your team any bit better than having Screwball on it. So that's just me. What will a bad offseason look like? Signing nobody. or going back and getting Sagano. Or Justin Verlander. I would say that's a bad offseason. Per John Heyman, Ketel Marte heating up Red Sox, Mariners, Jays, and possibly the Phillies and Rays. D-backs seeking a big package, understandably a superstar second baseman. I would trade Jackson Holliday for Ketel Marte. Yes, I know, it just got quiet. I'm probably the only person that would ever say that. But you're looking at an MVP caliber player for a guy you think is going to be pretty good. That's just me. I don't know. He's been there. He's done it. He's done it multiple times in his career. Could Jackson? Maybe. We don't know. Again, the Orioles in a position where you need to find guys that do it right now and not wait. So I would pull that trigger. That's just me. I don't know. You think there's an issue with Elias's pitch at this point? I think you're probably talking about to players. I would say probably not. It just came down to him wanting to stay in Philly. I think the pitch was good. From what I was told, he was very impressed with. And what made me think that some pitching deals were already done was they were floating that they were getting pitching here, and Schwarber was impressed with that. I was told a few times that Schwarber was very impressed with everything we had. The meetings went great. Obviously, he likes Jackson Holliday. He was a big fan of Dustin Lin, who we hired as our hitting coach. Like, everything kind of was falling into place, but overall, he wanted Philly. You know, I don't think Mike did anything wrong. Obviously, other than just not get pen to paper. But I mean, it was a good learning experience. Let's just put it that way. Good learning experience. I think he means if you think it will sign another reliever, I do. Hopefully they do. If I see it, who? Did I miss a whole conversation or something? I think he was asking if you would see them signing another arm. Yes, I do. Multiple arms, hopefully. Pirates signed Gregory Soto. It's a good spot for him. No to Cabrera, says Jay Palmer. What do I think of the idea of bringing back Colomb, Webb, and Dominguez? Dominguez I would like. The other two, probably not. Colomb is fine if you bring him in. I think at this point you need to think bigger. We'll see. I don't know. Keep Marte doesn't seem like a locker room guy. Some guys aren't. And some guys just need a fresh change of scenery. I don't know who Marte is in that respect. If he just needs just some new guys around him, I don't know. He's had some things go on in his life. Could the team have attributed to some of that? We don't know. It's hard to say. It's just be like, it's hard to give up on a guy. Like the whole Framber Valdez situation, like one little scuff on his career shouldn't define an 8-year career, in my opinion. Like it's never been reported that he's had locker room issues, that he's had any issues with any player, nothing, right? Did he do something stupid? Yeah, he did. He did. I think we all can agree we all do something stupid in life. I wouldn't hold that against him. I would still bring him here in my locker room. That's just me. And if he did it again, I mean, you put a clause in his contract. If he does it, you pull the whole thing, right? You can put clauses like that in contracts. And if it's a deal breaker he doesn't sign here, then maybe you know he is a jerk. But if he signs it and knows that he's going to be on his best behavior, you're protected regardless. You know, there's ways around that stuff. My best friend is on the Diamondbacks. He said the Ketel rumors are fake. He's not a locker room issue. He said he's one of the best dudes in the locker room. And that's what I've heard. I've heard he's always been fairly good, but it did seem like today they did interview the manager today for the Diamondbacks, and it did sound like that they were going to move him though. But that could be for other reasons, right? It could be financial reasons. It could be they know that they could get back quality players. There's always something. Always something. No one likes him. Marte could be a negative on the locker room side. There's always stuff out there. There's always stuff. Let's see. The Ducks beat your Penguins. Man, there's so many Pittsburgh people coming around here. I'm not a Pittsburgh. No, I'm just kidding. I won't mess with you guys too much. I'm a Ravens fan, but we suck. No, it's whatever. Mayo Povich and a comp pick would be something else. The comp pick is going to come into play, I think. It's going to sit around like a $2 million value. It's going to come into play. Cal's our headliner. Go sign Bellinger? Maybe. Mayo and Beavers, similar to sending Stowers and Norby. I think Mayo's got more upside than Norby. And Beavers definitely has more upside than Stowers. Stowers just figured it out. But at the time of the trade, I mean, I think Beavers is leaps and bounds better than Stowers. Again, time of the trade, as far as where they were as prospects. I think a lot of people expect big things out of Dylan Beavers. What do I think about Pablo Lopez? He's a guy that I really like. I think a lot of people like Pablo. It just comes down to who you willing to trade for him. You know, could they benefit from Kobe Mayo? I don't know. I don't know. Hi, just subscribed to the channel, Anthony. I appreciate that. Anybody else here has not subscribed to the channel or not liked the stream so far? Please do. It helps YouTube kind of push this out, and we can get out and meet new people and have good conversations. I mean, there's plenty of you here that are new in chat, and I appreciate every single one of you that are stopping through. It's always good for a good conversation. It's 10:46. Holy crap. You guys are on fire here tonight. 2,290 people liking the stream right now. Whew. I think Beavers has more value than Mayo. Dude's a strikeout machine versus Beavers is near 401 base percentage in Norfolk. I agree there. Mayo is going to be more of a power hitter in this league. Pete Alonso-esque, where he's going to hit a lot of home runs and maybe strike out. Maybe he's going to have to put the ball over the fence, though. Pete definitely does that, so he's going to have to prove it. The Mayo hate is crazy. I don't think Mayo's. I don't think anybody hates Mayo. It's just, again, he's just the guy that provides the most value. I don't think too many people are going to complain if he's here. Like if they went and signed like Tucker and Bellinger or somebody like that, and then not a first baseman, I don't think too many people are going to complain that Kobe Mayo's on the roster if he comes out and hits. So I wouldn't say that there's hate on Kobe Mayo. I think just everybody realizes that like you're not trading Westberg, you're not trading Holiday, you don't want to trade Beavers. Some will want to trade Cowser, but I feel like Mayo just provides you the overall the best package. And I think most of the fan base kind of sees that. Pig 2 Sports. What's up? What would you give the rumors are true that Carlos Collazo, JP Mosey, and Rosenthal, that your Orioles are in the middle of a strong trade conversations for Edward Cabrera? I don't think they're probably going to be the only team involved. I can tell you that. I do know they like Edwin, and they seem to have a good relationship with trading with Miami. I could definitely see it happening. Hopefully they just bring in somebody else with it. They have to come away with Alonso, nothing less than work on starters. Jeffrey, Jeff, I'm sorry. I don't think you're wrong. To me, a bat is priority one. Just because you already have Bradish and Rogers, go get the thumper that protects Gunnar Henderson in this lineup, and then focus on a starter. I thought the clips were about him as a person, trying not to make himself look better with the cross up. It might have been. It was supposed to be, from what I heard, it was just a hype reel. It probably had some clips in there and stuff like that too. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think too many people in baseball and the front offices are really going to look too much into that. They'll ask him about it. They'll see how he responds to it, and if he gets like shaky and stuff like that. But if he comes out and he's honest about what really happened, just like, hey, I lost my cool, blah, blah, blah. If that's what happened, I don't think anybody's going to look too much past that. But Edwin Cabrera is not a rental. You have 2 years arbitration plus clear. Exactly. Yeah. It would cost a lot to get him. Don't like that trade. The Grayson trade off go. We'll see what happens. A lot of people didn't like it. At first, I was even like, what the hell? But, things happen. There was more things than injuries. Let's just put it that way. Look up Dave Pingalore's tweet. Scooball to the Dodgers, apparently a done deal. Yeah, good for that, man. What was going on with G-Rod? Please elaborate. I probably shouldn't get too much into it. All I can probably comfortably say is he and the team at times did not see eye to eye on things. And it almost felt like a parting of ways was best for both parties. Let's say that. Parting of ways was best for both parties. Nice to see I'm not the only Orioles Penguins fan. Yeah, my cousin's an Orioles and a Penguins fan. Like, what's wrong with you guys? No, I'm just kidding. I don't watch too much hockey. A funny story is I've been to 6 hockey games in my life, and somehow, and not in any consecutive years or anything, just randomly with my brother. My brother's a diehard Caps fan. I've been to 6 games in my life. All 6 have been against Buffalo Sabres. It's weird. Very weird. It's never planned like that either. It's usually just like, hey, you got a free night? You want to go to a hockey game? Yeah. Who they playing? Oh, the Sabres. Okay. Sign Alonso, rotate Mayo on a relief pitcher with a big-ass arm and a wind-up. Literally the perfect scheme. I will tell you who has a big-ass wind-up is Edward Cabrera, and he does not hold runners on at all. That would be a problem here if they did do that. We need a right-handed punch. Ward and Alonso, 200 RBIs. Would love it. I would love it. What did Andy just say? What do we got here, Andy? Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go, Andy? Your tweet. Don't be out here tweeting stuff that I can't read, Andy. All right. I'm going to have to search Andy real quick. What did you just say? Nothing. Why did I... Oh, never mind. He was responding to my message. Whoopsies. All right. Shout out to Cal Ripken's kid. He's got a good channel. Yeah, Rip's got a great channel. Great channel. Does a lot of great interviews. His hosts and stuff, or his co-hosts, or whatever you want to call them. They're great too. Knowledgeable channel. They talk very good sports. So definitely, Baltimore has been enriched with some good content creators. Everyone provides their own little unique spin to everything, and providing a lot of information to everybody in different ways. And I think as fans, we're blessed to have so many talented creators that are covering the team right now. For sure. I do got to get to bed, guys. It's 10:52, and y'all are just rolling in the comments. I appreciate it. Don't let the polar bear leave your hotel room, Elias. I agree. I heavily prefer King over Suarez. I don't think you'd be wrong with that, if I'm even saying that right. I don't know if I'm not. My bad. But yeah, King is great, and I think the O's like him too. Gore still throws gas, so there's a lot of potential there. Yeah, for sure. Ketel Marte heating up. Yeah, we saw that earlier from John Morosi. Yep. Alonso is maybe like the top 5-10% outcome for Mayo's career. Right. Yeah, Kobe's got a long way to go to reach Pete. But the swing is similar, very similar. Pete just right now has done it for a long time. The O's need 2 high-end starters. I think you're right. Go get Joe Ryan too. If he's really available, we really don't know. The Twins kind of been messing around a little bit. Who knows? You see how much the free agent market sucks for next year? Yeah. That's why drafting is really important. I don't want to do the whole position shuffling, but Bichette is one of the non-Orioles who I can't help but like 1,000%. Like, that's a guy that you just find a way for it to work. You know what I mean? Like, he hits at the top of your order, and he hits really well. He's right-handed. He hits great with runners in scoring position with 2 strikes. Like, he checks a lot of freaking boxes. Make it work. Auvergne's the center field prospect. Yeah, me too. Dude, Auvergne is good. Nate George is good. Like, the Orioles are in good hands in the outfield for quite a few years. Bichette would be a huge leadoff hitter. He would. And the market's been pretty slow right now. We're all Zach's source. Exactly. Please don't tell me the source is the MLB executive burner. No. It's not Mike Elias, by the way. I've had conversations with that guy. Last year we both liked, we were on a post talking about Randall Grichuk, and he DM'd me, and he's like, stop talking about Randall Grichuk. And I was like, no, I want the Orioles to get him because I like him. He's like, well, I like him too, and I want him to go so-and-so. That was pretty funny. And I asked him, I was like, are you Mike Elias? And he was like, no. So it's not Mike Elias, if anybody's wondering. Wonder if anybody is interested in Kjerstad. He's essentially blocked with the O's now. He won't share his health status publicly, perhaps with other teams, though. Brian, that's a good good observation. That might be a Mike thing, not sharing his health status. Now they have to share that with teams, but making that public would make it harder for them to trade him. So maybe that's why they're going that route. I don't know. The Orioles are tight-lipped anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, could there be interest somewhere? Yeah, maybe. I don't know if the interest would be high, but there's definitely interest somewhere. I will say this: the Sagana move last year might have helped in getting the foot door for Amai. I remembered. Sagana is a big thing in Japan. Yes. Adam Jones was in Japan and said the same thing. Sagana was a star over there, and it definitely helped get in the market over there. Does Abernez seem to be a draw for free agents? Not sure how players perceive managers. I think maybe. We just don't know enough about him yet, but I think his presence in an interview would definitely win some people over. Jander says Marte is 10 times better than Holiday. Right, I would make that trade. Thumbs up, everyone. Rick, I appreciate that. If we sign Pete, the crash out from New York media would be entertaining. Yeah. It'd be the same about crash out here if we don't re-sign Gunnar Henderson. Let's see. What is Amai's market value? 5 for 200. They haven't said too much, to be honest with you. What do I see in terms of pitching as likely free agent starter? Do we stay there? Or do we get a free agent starter and trade for a starter? I think they're looking at all avenues. Amai, I don't know if 200 is his value. They haven't really talked numbers too much with him yet. But being a Boris client, it's probably going to be up there. I would start maybe at 125. Maybe. I don't know. It depends. And MLB The Show, I signed Alonso, traded for Yuri Perez, Joe Ryan, and Luis Robert Jr. That's some good guys too there. What do I think of the number 7 pick? Better pick up a pitcher. Let's see. Grayson sounded pretty spicy talking about his relationship with those players after the trade. Right. There was a lot of things to read between the lines there. Heston and Kobe Mayo for Eber Cabrera. If they value those two players, then maybe they have to want them. That's the problem. Is it wrong to want King over Suarez, Gallen, and Valdez? King over Gallen easily. Valdez, I'm not sure. It just depends. If we don't get Alonso or the other big bats, would a genius Suarez who hits 40 more home runs a year work? Mark, I liked him. Earlier in this year, I talked about how Alonso and Suarez would make this lineup really good. This was before they picked up Taylor Ward. I said you had to find a big bat. They went and got Taylor Ward. Suarez would still make them a little bit better. But at this point, you're adding 3 guys that strike out really close to 200 times, and Cowsers. You would have close to 4 guys. So I don't know if that fits the lineup that much. I don't think Grayson issued that thank you note fans to the Orioles after the trade. I just still don't think he did, James. Not that it's expected, but it's a good little show of faith, and he just never did it. Rubbed some people the wrong way. Do I think Ahern goes to Tampa? Maybe. That's a good spot for him. I know the Marlins are on him. Bichette not going to the O's. He didn't even the top 10 odds. I would not look at odds. Key reason why. Was Texas ever mentioned for some of the guys that they've signed recently? No. Texas operates in complete silence. Yankees do the same thing, operate in silence, and then boom, they go get their guy. So just because he's not named somewhere doesn't mean anything. Look, the Orioles weren't even named for Kyle Schwarber in a lot of different people's segments. Buster Olney had him in there, but not too many other guys. They were constantly saying all the Reds, the Pirates, the Giants, the Mets, all the stuff, right? Well, the whole time the Orioles were right there, right? So don't read into that stuff too much. Kerstad's going through it. Wasn't even Norfolk. Yeah, they sent it back to Florida. No, he wasn't in Norfolk. They sent him back to Florida, and he was taking reps and stuff down there last year. But that was about all I heard. All right. last one I'm going to read because I got to go to bed. It is 10:59. I got to go at 4 o'clock in the morning. A screwball trade for us would start with Bradfield, Amaya, and Bateman, Heston, and others. No way it goes over 5. It would start with Jackson Holiday. It would start with Holiday. It would still have Mia and still have Bradfield in it. It's going to take a lot. So, hour and 44 minutes we go tonight. 2,500 of you have viewed the stream tonight. Appreciate every single one of you. Again, I am going to hop off. I'm old. I'm tired. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But, again, we may be live tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure. I've been DMing here with Andy Costa of the Baltimore Banner. We wanted to go on and talk some O's together, talk about some of these contracts, talk about Kyle Schwarber maybe, and then talk about some of the other things that he's heard in the background, some of the things that I've heard, and kind of just give you guys, some rundown of some things, maybe some better answers than just coming from me. So that may be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it would probably be Thursday, busy Friday. We'll see. But we'll put that out. I'll put it on Twitter when Andy and I are going to hop on together, and we'll make sure that everybody's involved. So I got to go. I'm tired already. I know the dog's back there snoozing on the couch. Again, I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you all have a fantastic night. Let's hope that some news breaks here just for the hell of it. If not, hopefully sometime tomorrow, and we can rejoice as Orioles fans and be excited a little bit. And get the monkey off the bat here, but catch you guys later.